What's up everyone, back for another vlog, and in today's vlog I'll be showing you the Shelfie beers that I'll be reviewing for the month of May 2024. So if you're unfamiliar with what Shelfie beer reviews are, they are reviews of beers that I can easily grab off the shelves here in the Buffalo, New York area, and I try to get a good mixture of beers from some of the bigger regional and national and international breweries. And I post Shelfie beer reviews every single Tuesday and Friday of each month. And in the month of May, there are 9 Tuesdays and Fridays. Therefore, there are 10 beers in front of me. Yeah, there's 10 beers in front of me. And they are in order of how I'm going to post them over the course of the month from your left to right. This will be the first, and this will be the last. So let's go over these real quick. And I will say before doing so that the reason there are 10 beers this month instead of 9 is we're gonna be doing a little bit of a side-by-side in one of the videos, so an extra beer, therefore 10 instead of 9, and we'll talk about it momentarily when we get to the 2 beers. So anyway, the first one we have here is from Stone, and it is their Sublimely Self-Righteous Black IPA. So this is Imperial Black IPA, comes in at 8.7% alcohol by volume, and by the time I review this one, it's going to be about 7 weeks old, although they do give it a best by date of June 29th of 2024. We'll be well before that when I review it, so we should be fine. And they have a spiel here on the back that we'll read when I do review this one. Now, full disclosure, I've had this beer once before. It was probably, it's been at least 9 or 10 years because on the back of here it says that they introduced it for the first time in 2007. I don't think it made national distribution until much later, but I remember having this one back in the early to mid 2010s, and I did not like it. And that was because of my palate, not the beer itself. I've been saying it recently. Back on April 8th, I did a couple reviews of black IPAs for the Total Eclipse, or Total Solar Eclipse, and I said in both those reviews, I don't really care for black IPAs. However, I really enjoyed both of those beers, so maybe I'm coming around on black IPAs. Back when I tried this one for the first time, not a fan of black IPAs, so I'm very curious to see how my palate receives this one nowadays, and yeah, I can't wait to get into it. So yeah, that'll be the first that we're reviewing this month. The next one comes from Arenac, and it is their Blueberry Blonde. So they're calling this one an ale brewed with blueberry natural flavor added. It comes in at 5% alcohol by volume, and by the time I review this one, it'll be just under 3 months old, or right around 3 months old. So this is a seasonal from Arenac, where they pretty much release it every single spring into summer. And I've had this one, full disclosure, a couple times before. I had it at a beer fest and on tap back in the mid-2010s, but I've never had it packaged, so I thought I'd pick it up. You know, we're starting to get into the spring, really deep in the spring. Summer's right around the corner, so you'll see today that there are a lot of like seasonals and like lower ABV crushers, some fruit beers, and I think it just kind of speaks to the season we're in right now. Also show you the label of the Stone beer. I think this one used to come right in big bombers, and then they put it in 12-ounce bottles, and then we got the Arenac beer here as well. And next, we have from Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers, their Bohemian Dawn. So this is a Czech pale lager. It comes in at 4.4% alcohol by volume, and by the time I review this one, it'll be about 7 weeks old or so. Now this is a double decocted Czech pale lager. Last spring, I think a little bit over a year ago, I reviewed the Bohemian Dusk, which was their Czech style dark lager. And to date, one of my favorite American brewed Czech style dark lagers, period. Absolutely delicious. So this is the pale version of it, and I'm here for it. They're using Saaz hops, and they have a little spiel here that I'll read when I do the review, but had to sneak in a Jack's Abbey beer. I also picked up another one from them, their lager of the World Destination New Zealand, brewed with a couple different New Zealand hops, I believe, and that is supposed to, I think, be a Whole Foods exclusive, although I did not pick it up at Whole Foods, so food for thought. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, the next 2 beers, these are the 2 beers I'm going to do a side-by-side. So for the longest time, here in the Western New York area, the only beer you could really find from 21st Amendment, the 21st Amendment Brewery, basically, it's their Heller High Watermelon. That's like the only beer you can find. It comes in like 15 packs and whatnot. We used to get a ton of different 21st Amendment beers, like a ton. I probably have had like a dozen different beers from them. However, they have been scarce over the past 5 or 6 years. Outside of the watermelon beer, you really can't find anything. And lo and behold, when I walked into one of my favorite local bottle shops of choice, Premier Gourmet in Amherst, New York, Ethan, beer manager there, friend of mine, he said that these two showed up. I asked him about them, and then he showed me that like 4 or 5 new ones showed up, and I was like, they're coming back, and he's like, yeah, apparently. So I picked up 2 different ones to do a side-by-side. They're similar but different. So both of these are the Brew Free or Die IPA. So this is the base right here. And then we have the Blood Orange variant. And I love Blood Orange. And I've had the base, but I don't think I've had the Blood Orange. So anyway, both of these beers are IPAs. I think they're supposed to be like West Coast IPAs. I think the base comes in at, I want to say 6.8. Does it say it somewhere on the label? I don't think it actually says on the label. So anyway, this is just an IPA. I think it's a West Coast. This is, I think, this base beer, but with the addition of blood orange and natural flavor. And again, I think this is 6.8 and this is 7. But I'm not positive. And the freshness, this was canned in early April. This was canned in late March. So by the time I review them, they'll probably be, less than 6 months or 6 weeks old, like right around 6 weeks old. But I wanted to review these two because, again, it's been a long time since I've had the base. 21st Amendment we really don't get, starting to come back. I love when Shelfie beers return to an area after a while, especially if it's a Shelfie brewery. Like, I never loved like 21st Amendment stuff, but they did some cool takes on pumpkin beers. The watermelon beer I reviewed back in 2019, really good beer. I've had some other beers from them that were really good as well. So curious to see what I think of both of these and which one I'm going to prefer. I would say the Blood Orange, but that's why we would do the review. So looking forward to those two. Next, we have from 6 Point their Brooklyn Sunny. So this is a citrus lager and comes in at 5.3% alcohol by volume. And this just has a best by date of September 4th of 2024, or well within range. And on the side here, where to say lager with natural flavor. So I think it's supposed to be like a lemon lime, basically, lager. And it says seasonal release at the top. So I'm here for it. Like I said, lower ABV crushers, fruited beers, fruited lagers. That's kind of spring, summertime, what a lot of people look for. So I thought I'd pick that one up. It's been a little while since I've reviewed something from 6 Point. Next, we have the newest release as far as seasonals goes from Great Lakes. Their strawberry pineapple wheat. So this is a wheat ale with strawberry and pineapple. On the side of the can it says malt beverage with natural flavors. This one has a best by date of September 23rd of 2024. So I'd imagine this was probably canned on March 23rd or 24th. So by the time I review it, again, probably around the 6-week mark, maybe a little bit older, but this has a good best by date and a very simplistic label, but I think it's appropriate for the season. I love strawberries. I love pineapple. I hope this is just not too sweet and it's like a nice fruity beer without being over the top in terms of the sweetness. Next, we have from Brooklyn, we have their Brooklyn Brown Ale, or Brooklyn Brown, they just call it. 5.6% alcohol by volume. I think I've deciphered that this one was like, pretty sure this was, I think this was canned in like early March, so we should be fine as far as the date goes. But yeah, so I haven't had this one in a long time. And to be honest with you, not a huge fan of American brown ales or brown ales in general. I prefer the English ones. However, it's been a long time since I've had this. Longer than the Stone one, longer than the arenac. I probably had that in like the early 2010s. Maybe like, I'd say somewhere between like 2011 and like 2014. But I want to revisit it because why not? That's what these Shelfie beers I review are about, is reviewing and revisiting beers that I haven't had in a long time, or seasonal releases from breweries maybe I don't drink a lot of. So that fits the description of a Shelfie beer to me, and I'm curious to see what it's all about. So I'm looking forward to that one. Next, we have from Kona Brewing, we have their Big Wave. Now, this used to be called, I think, Big Wave Golden Ale. It used to be like on the label. Now it just says Liquid Aloha Premium Beer. The ABV on this one is 4.4%, and it has a freshest date. They say, what does it say on the side here? See bottom for freshest before date of August 15th of 2024. We're well within date. And again, this is just another one of those Shelfie beers nowadays that you see at a lot of places, and I haven't had in a while. Now, a couple months ago, I reviewed their Longboard Island Lager, and it was very disappointing. It reminded me of like a kind of like a macro beer, to be honest with you. It was like a macro lager. I remember it being a little bit more vibrant, had a little bit more character when I had it originally. So I reviewed that one. I wasn't thrilled with it. So I wanted to grab this one just to see, because I had this one a long time ago and I thought it was pretty solid for a blonde/golden ale. I guess we'll find out together, but I'm looking forward to it. And finally, we have an imported beer from Belgium. This is Castile, the Castile Brewery, and this is their Vit. So this is a Belgian Vit beer that comes in at 4.8% alcohol by volume. And, I'm pretty good typically with figuring out dates and like deciphering Julian codes and the whole nine. It's usually pretty easy. However, I have no idea what this means. I'll have to look it up, but I have no idea how fresh this is at all. However, the aforementioned Ethan was like, hey, did you see this? Now, I think this is a newer release from Castile. I don't remember seeing this specifically, this Vit beer. I've had a lot of beers from them. I've had their Rouge. I've had their Barista Chocolate Quad. I've had the Nitro version of that. I've had a couple of their Goozes, the St. Louis ones. One of them was the Frambois, and the other one I think was the Base. I've had their Donker. I've had quite a few beers from Castile. Never seen this one. Never had this one. I don't know if I'm just an idiot. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's a confirmation, but just never seen it. I just love how it's just a Belgian ale, you know, like, I get it. They have to put on the whole thing and say wheat ale underneath, but it is a Belgian Vit beer. So I'm curious to see how that one is. Again, another style that kind of fits the mold of, hey, it's spring, summertime, starting to get warmer, it's nicer out. You want some, crushers that are sub 6%. That's what I'm here for. So, as I do at the end of every single Shelfie beer review vlog, I ask the question, what beer or beers are you looking forward to me reviewing the most? Now, myself personally, obviously the Stone Black IPA this is the one that I'm looking forward to the most because, again, I'm curious to see how my palate thinks about this one nowadays. The two 21st Amendment beers, I'm not thinking they're going to be mind-blowing or anything. Let's be real here. These are, classic old school IPAs. However, I love Blood Orange. I don't think I've had the Blood Orange. I'll have to double check on that, but I've definitely had the Base, and I always thought it was pretty solid. So it'll be fun to see which one I prefer and how they are. Also, the new release from a Great Lakes seems like it could be a fun one. And again, kind of curious about the Kona Big Wave and the Castile. Again, never seen that one before, so yeah, I'm curious. Obviously, I want to see how all these are going to be, and the reason I pick them up is because I'm interested in trying them and revisiting them. The Jack's Abbey, Bohemian Dawn, for example, really looking forward to it. But for the most part, I'd say these three are the ones that stick out the most to me. So if you've had any of these beers before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about them. And like I said, let me know which ones you're looking forward to me reviewing the most. This month, for sure, is more of like a true Shelfie experience, because I sometimes pick up some beers where people are like, well, are those Shelfie in terms of like, can you find them at a grocery store? Are they super easy to get? For the vast majority of these beers right here, a lot of you can get them, especially if you reside in like the Northeast, New England / somewhat in the Midwest, maybe Mid-Atlantic region, tri-state area. You probably can get your hands on a lot of these. So I think this month is like a true Shelfie month, and I'm looking forward to it. So I appreciate everybody stopping by for another vlog. Be on the lookout for reviews of these beers over the course of May, and until the next one, cheers.